Today we will discuss about the pectoral region, mainly the pectoralis major and minor muscles. Here I have kept the one incision over the upper border of the manubrium to the xiphoid process, and one incision which is horizontally from this xiphoid process, which goes transversely up to the mid axillary line, and I will reflect the one incision which is cross over the breast and till up to the apex of the axilla, and I will reflect the skin of the axilla. After reflecting the skin of the axilla, you can see the fatty tissue. This is the fat. Now we will discuss about the pectoralis major. Pectoralis major, which is arise from the anterior surface of the medial two-third of the clavicle. This is the anterior surface of the medial two-third of the clavicle. This portion, there is a attachment of the pectoralis major, and I have cut it from the anterior two-third part of the clavicle. It is a half of the breadth of the anterior surface of the manubrium. This is the manubrium, and sternum up to the 6 costal cartilage. This is the origin. Also the pectoralis major, which is attached to the second to the 6 ribs. So this is the origin of the pectoralis major. This pectoralis major, which is inserted, goes laterally, and it is inserted into the lateral lip of the bicipital groove of the humerus. So here you can see this is the bicipital groove, and the lateral lip, there is an inverted U shape, there is an attachment of the pectoralis major. The anterior fiber, which is superficial on the lateral lip into the upper part, while the sternal fiber, which lies on the posteriorly, and it is lies deep to the anterior fiber or clavicular fiber, deep to the clavicular fibers. So on the lateral lip of the bicipital groove, there is an attachment of the pectoralis major muscle. It is the insertion of the pectoralis major muscles. Now the nerve supply of the pectoralis major, I will show you. Here you can see this is a lateral pectoral nerve which is pierced to the clavipectoral fascia. The clavipectoral fascia, which lies between the upper this is the pectoralis minor. From the upper border of pectoralis minor up to the clavicle, these portions, we have dissected this area, and this portion, it is called the clavipectoral fascia. And this clavipectoral fascia, which pierced by the lateral pectoral nerve as well as thoracoacromial vessels. This is the thoracoacromial vessels, and this is a lateral pectoral nerve. And this is the medial pectoral nerve, which is piercing to the pectoralis minor muscles, and medial pectoral nerve also supplies to the pectoralis major muscles. The main actions of the pectoralis major, it is the two adduction, stretching of these muscles. It lead to there is adductions of the muscles. It is the, as well as it lead to there is a medial rotations of the shoulders. The clavicular fibers produce the this fiber only, which produce the flexion of the arm, and the sternocostal part, it is also used in extension of the flex arm against the resistance. It is the main actions of the pectoralis major. Now I will show you the another muscles which is deep to the pectoralis major. You can see this is the pectoralis minor muscles, and this pectoralis minor muscles, which is attached to the 3rd, 4th and 5th ribs. It is the origin of the pectoralis minor, which goes upwards and laterally, and it is inserted to the coracoid process of the scapula. Here you can see this is the scapula, which lies on the posterior aspect, but the coracoid process, where there is a pectoralis minor which is inserted, along with its there is a coracobrachialis origins. So pectoralis minor, which arise from the 3rd, 4th and 5th ribs, and it is inserted to the coracoid process of the scapula, and it is innervated by the mainly the medial pectoral nerve as well as the nerve plexus of the forming by the lateral pectoral nerve, and it is also innervated to the pectoralis minor. The main action of the pectoralis minor, it is the to draw the scapula forward and depress the shoulder. It is the action of the pectoralis minor muscles. And the last one, it is the subclavius muscles. Here it is the below to the clavicle. It is difficult to show you, but this muscle, it is the subclavius muscles. Below to the clavicle, this is the clavicle, this is the subcutaneous part of the clavicle, and just below to the clavicle, the muscle, it is called the subclavius muscles. And these subclavius muscles, which is arise from the first rib and costochondral junctions, and it is inserted to the subclavian groove on the middle 1/3 of the clavicle. So it is arise from the first rib and it is inserted into the subcostal groove of the clavicle, and it is supplied by the now to subclavius from the upper trunk of the brachial plexus. And mainly the function of this muscle, it is the steady the clavicle during the movement of the shoulder joints, and it form a cushion for the axillary vessels. Here you can see this is the axillary vessels, this is the axillary vein, and just behind to it there is a axillary artery. Here you can see this is the axillary artery. This is the cephalic vein open inside the axillary vein. So this is the axillary artery. So it is also act as a cushion for the axillary vessels as well as the trunk of the brachial plexus. So this is about to the muscles of the pectoral region. Hope you enjoy the lecture. Thank you very much.